Hello everyone. So today I want to talk about why the gods favor some over others in a few different ways. Now, if gods favor a certain individual for communication, it's likely that individual has made progress in past lives in order to achieve that state, or that individual is the conduit needed in order for the gods to speak to the world. And the third option for that instance is if that person is at the proper precipice to actually make an effect in the world to an extent that no one else is, just at that particular point. Now, there's no real surefire way to basically say, okay, the gods want to communicate with me, but not other people. There's no surefire way to say, I have a destiny that the gods want to work with more than the destiny of other people. What it comes down to is basically yourself communicating with the gods and understanding your level of communication and the progress that you make over time. And if you tend to make a lot of progress, it may not just be that that you have done it in and of yourself, but that those highways, those paths have been opened to you so that you may go down them. And ultimately, all souls are one. So souls that open up paths to us, they have a connection to us that is above time. It's beyond time, and it's above all the paths. It's above this two-dimensional spiral that we find ourselves in that we call time. Now, it also depends on what kind of gods we're talking about. Now, most celestial beings, most celestial entities that we call gods are of higher vibrations. They want everything to be of higher vibration and to basically transcend the mundane, transcend the material. But that's not true of all celestial entities, all celestial beings that we call gods. There are some gods that you could say, like Sorath, or maybe some of the Mayor Jizran lords that people think of as gods, or maybe something like some of the ancient gods in Hinduism. There's a few gods that are have malintent and want everything to be of a lower vibration and drag things down. But every single force has a purpose behind it, a purpose to it. Everything serves a function, even if a force is chaotic. Now, there are far more celestial entities, gods, that are wanting of our liberation, of our progress. So most of the time when gods try to communicate with us, and they do so just completely in whatever way they want and to whatever extreme they want. So when most gods try to communicate with us, they are trying to work towards a goal that betters all of creation, all the universes, multiverse, however you want to look at it, the different worlds, long Yggdrasil, however you want to look at it. And because of this, it's likely that even if you find terrible things happening in your lives and you think it's the result of a god, and you really feel that and you have evidence to support it, or maybe after you communicate with a god, they do the exact opposite, or they put you through this trial, it may seem malevolent some of the time. It shouldn't seem malevolent most of the time. But if it's some of the time it seems malevolent, it's because they sometimes put us through ordeals. Sometimes they put us through challenges that by overcoming we become stronger, or we're in a better place to help other people and ourselves. Kali Ma has allowed me to make my mistakes, for instance, but she always has the grace to let my karma come back quickly, which is better than it building up, because karma that comes back later on is far worse than just experiencing it fairly immediately. So you can get it out of the way. But also, I can basically, she doesn't push me away from doing whatever I want, but when I do what I want and there's consequences to be felt, they're very not just immediate, but obvious, that I feel this way because of this action, or this happened because of this action. What Kali Ma has done for me is scrape away a lot of the illusion surrounding the consequences of my actions when I make a mistake, and also when I do something good. When I do something right. If I go to temple at the right time, if I go to temple more often or meditate more often, the benefits that she basically enhances are quite interesting and quite strengthening, and I don't want to say wisening, that's not a word, but they provide me with more knowledge about my place on the path. Now, if you don't work with different gods, if you've never really worked with a god, which I understand gods as being different functions of the one God, everything being a part of God ultimately, but we're trapped in, like other Hindus, I believe that we're trapped in illusion, and there's degrees of separation, degrees of illusion that make things seem like they're separate. But if you've never worked with a god in any spiritual system, what you have to understand is that it's not like working with the ultimate sense of God, the one God. It's more like working with something that is closer to you, a force that is closer to you, a force that can affect your life more immediately than the long term, that can affect in the long term. But because of these celestial forces being so close to us, they're far easier to reach and gain reactions from, or basically highlight certain things in our lives through different supernatural or just obvious societal methods that seem to manifest right after we do right after working with that God. You really have to start working with the gods in order to understand what I'm talking about. But why do the gods seem to favor some over others? I did cover those points, but what you have to understand is that you can still be favored. No matter where you are on the path, you can still be favored by spirits, by gods, by the ultimate source, the one God. The different gods being different functions of the one God. In my understanding, I worship God, the ultimate, through Kali Ma and the mother sense of God. So that's how I recognize the source, the one God. But if you work towards putting yourself in a place where you want to help people, where you want to advise people, where you want to make a difference in people's lives, the gods are more likely to communicate and desire to basically, put it bluntly, use you to further every being in the universe and all the universes. They're more likely to siphon off more resources within the section that we call creation, which is all the universes, and then the spirit beyond creation is really the only infinite. But we're kind of cut off. There seems like a vast amount of resources in all the universes, but there's not. So the gods are more likely to grant you a greater portion of the resources if your true intention is to help people, and if your true intention is to further yourself and not just further your desires and your ability to satisfy those desires. And if your true intention is to keep on working to place yourself in a greater vantage point to help those who the different functions of God watch over, the different gods watch over, the different gods work with, the different gods try to what the different gods try to achieve. When you try to put yourself in a better place to achieve the ends of the gods, then it's more likely they'll work with you, that they'll want to talk to you so that they can basically give you the boons that you need to press the eternal fight for everyone towards liberation from the material. But thank you very much for watching. This video has been about the gods and basically how why they sometimes prefer some people over others. But that's not really the case as I've described. But thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, shoot them down in the comment section, and I will see you in the future.